everybody, my name is Marslane and welcome to episode 44 in my City Skylines series. In this episode I am going to be building a wood logging pit stop in the middle of the rail yard. Basically a little place for logging trains to leave their cargo and continue back to the mountains to get some more wood logs. In short, this episode will have a lot of decorating for about 27 minutes straight. So this is a pure treat for those people who love aesthetically beautiful builds. I might have used too many assets and ground decoration because in the end of the build I had mostly about 15 to 20 frames per second on low graphic settings. So I might be reaching the top tier of foliage and decorating what my computer can handle at one spot in the game. But sadly I am not able to upgrade my computer yet, so I have to deal with that until I am able to upgrade. But dealing with that is pretty hard because I'm not really able to control myself when I'm trying to decorate stuff, because I end up placing too many things on the ground, and that ends up slowing down my game a lot. Also, I'm a little bit sick at this moment, so I will apologize in advance if the commentary is not as great as usually. A little bit of sarcasm here. But now let's get to the video and I will try to explain what I'm doing in the video. And for those wondering why I don't do real-time building with commentary, I have a simple answer. I think that people wouldn't really enjoy watching a video in about 20 frames per second, and also I don't plan things ahead in my videos. So basically I just build whatever hits my mind, so it might cause a lot of confusion if 1 minute I say something and then the other minute I will do something completely different which doesn't even match up with the original idea which I had. And I also tend to jump a lot between things, so that is also a little bit bad. But now back to the main subject of this video, the logging rail yard. I was trying to achieve something which would look very old and almost crumbling. I also tried to imitate foliage which has started taking back over the land which it once used to cover. And that is also the reason why all of the roads and the concrete on the ground looks like it has been through World War I and full of potholes and billions of little cracks everywhere. I started the video off by finishing up the central main road of the station. For some case my game had unsubscribed from the truck stop asset, so I had to fill in the place with something better, so I ended up creating a long parking lot with some bushes surrounding it, which I think ended up looking much better in the end. Then decorated the miniature medical clinic, and after that added some foliage around the oil tanks behind the parking lot. After that I started the real work on the logging rail yard, which you can see at now. As of now I was basically trying to create a little logging place where they store the stuff, the logs and different kinds of things. On the top I had a little crane which was a little, I think it was a asset from the what was the thing now where those, it was an asset from the harbor thing, the harbor build, which I had some months ago. So I still had the crane from that, so it was a really great thing. It sort of fits the theme here, as you can see at now, where I am surrounding it with logs. So you can see basically it gives a nice overview of the train and also lets you pick up the things from top, which is good, I think. But I don't know if it is realistic because I haven't really done research on the logging rail yards before I started building this, so I can't really give you an answer regarding that. but hopefully it is realistic in some way. That now I was adding a lot of bushes, grass, tall grass, and trees everywhere because as I before mentioned, I wanted to give the look where the nature is trying to claim back their land and stuff like that. So it basically, at this moment, I was creating the super dirty looking crumbling parking lot, which has been destroyed by the plant life, and also it is going to have a little bit of a junkyard part in it, which houses a lot of broken cars and broken down garbage and such. But that will be done a little bit later. As of now, I was trying to finish up the logging yard, the main one, and this is the thing which I talked about, junkyard part of the parking lot. But I ended up just making the junkyard, but without gates surrounding it, so I think it looks more like a thing of an old city which had been abandoned or something like that, and no one cares about those. On the upper right corner you could see the red cargo train things, and those I added there because I think it looked nice and gave it more of an rail yard theme. And basically there's a lot of adding those ground painting stuff. I think I should really get a ground painter tool which lets me just paint down the ground assets, not the assets but dirt, or what is that thing now? I can't remember the name for it, but yeah, I think it is the yellow dirt or something. So I could make it a little bit nicer and work faster, because searching for those assets is a lot of work each time, because they are at the end of the asset list and it takes a long time to get there. And this is the part where I added a second cargo station. Like I ended up adding 3 more cranes which were basically looping around the track here, and that ended up looking pretty great because it gives a more of an industrial look in my mind, and that also helps to bring out the theme a little bit more. So in total I had 4 cranes and 2 main logging stations. So basically the one on the upper left corner there, which I have already almost finished, and then the second one which I am building at now. So basically this is the largest one, and the second one is like a little buffer zone or something. I really liked the prop tool thing, which lets you create those straight lines. It is really nice. And also yeah, basically I tried to make it look nice, but at first it didn't seem to fit the build a little bit, but at the end I managed to make it look pretty nice with the log trucks here, because yeah, I don't know why, but there are not really a lot of logging trucks on the workshop, at least those which I couldn't find, which I was able to find because I had only 1 truck, and that's bad. I really would have wanted a little bit more, but now you can see me start work on the main logging yard, which will house a lot of wood piles here and there, everywhere. So basically this is the time where I am adding those wood piles. I think that I wouldn't really mind if there were taller wood piles, because that would make it possible to make something more interesting, because now the log piles are all only close to the ground, and then that doesn't really give it dimension, because it looks pretty flat. If the piles would have been like twice as high as the bigger one, that would have been much nicer, because it could have made it look more interesting and have more look to it, hopefully. But I don't really know. But and those were the only two ones which I was able to find. There might have been more if I had searched more, but I really didn't bother with that a lot, because I was a little bit lazy and I wanted to start the build as soon as possible, because I already had restarted the game several times, because I had some problems with the lighting, which you saw a few minutes ago, where the sky bridge here went totally black and had those white and black spots all over it. Here I am adding a lot of green grass next to the wood piles, because I think that is usually how the logging piles and logging sites look, because they are usually just placed on the ground and then they are left there for a pretty long time to dry up, or just end up staying there for a long time, and plant life grows really fast, so it takes up the free grass spots near the wood piles really fast, so it ends up looking pretty green. This is the place where I tried to add a little bit of movement or motion, and try to show that this wood pile station thingy is working and is able to do something, but it is sad that you're not able to fully animate things in this game. So basically, if you would place down those wood piles and cranes and stuff, then it would literally start doing the work which it is intended to do, but that's still too advanced for this game, so it is almost impossible at this moment, though it might be possible if they are going to release City Skylines 2, maybe, but I don't really think that kind of thing is possible, because it would mean a lot of modding and doing some other stuff, but it might be possible, so it might be cool to be able to build like something, a garbage yard. You place down a lot of junkyard stuff and like that, and then the game just starts using that part of the build like a junkyard and starts bringing garbage there or doing some other stuff. At this moment I was adding some colorful bushes to give the logging yard a little bit more color, because it was too brown and green all the time. So now basically it has some spots of colorful bushes, so they just pop up and give it more character. This thing which I added that now was not a forklift, but I don't really know the name of it, but it basically brings up the person in air and they can just look very far away and so on. That was basically meant to be as a little, how can I say now, a little guard post or something, where the person looking over the rail yard could just see whatever is going on, and then possibly get away and possibly be able to spot people and see how much storage they have left and so on. I can't really say what it is meant for, but that's what I thought of. And yeah, but the basic in my mind this build is looking pretty great for so far, which I have done work on it. So basically I really like it because it tends to look like something from an old style, and I would really like to build something Western in the future, where it would be possible to add some kind of an old school stuff. I had really no idea what caused that gigantic burn mark on the ground there in the solar field panels. So basically one of them was broken, and I had replaced that before the build, so I didn't really end up showing that. This is the part where I connected up the small house there, which was supposedly, I hope it was a working graveyard, because I really wanted to see some trains drive up to the warehouse there and try to bring out cargo and stuff like that. This house here was meant to be as a little place where a really stubborn old person had once been so stubborn that they didn't go away from there when the rail yard was built, so their house was just left there, and now it is basically one family home in middle of a rail yard. That was kind of a fun idea, which I had basically exactly then when I found that house in the assets list there, and I think it ended up looking pretty neat, because I ended up adding some cars and also doing the same style as in the parking lot there, where I added a lot of broken down cars and stuff like that. So basically that could be as a little place where the person has stored all of their old junk and doesn't want to get rid of it. So basically it is just a place for that kind of stuff, and it has all grown inside the grass and filled with bushes and other stuff. So basically it is ingrown and not taken care of really well. So basically it is just full of junk which is unusable. And also a little small water or oil tank there, which might be usable because it looks newer than the cars and other stuff, but I don't really know what to imitate with that. And I also added a small garden road here with some bushes next to it, which might have given it more character because it makes it look much nicer and more colorful. Also some trees, a lot of grass, and some lighting because why not? And those what are those things now? Those orange lights which added on the ground, those looked pretty fun because I think they could pretend to be Christmas lights, but on the ground. So because they kept flickering there a lot, and that was really fun, and I really liked it. This was supposed to be a small parking lot behind the main cargo buildings here. Basically I had a lot of small cargo buildings there. How many did I have? I had 7 cargo buildings and the main cargo distribution place here, where I added some trucks, and also, as you can see, I added some lines with the ground painting tool where the lines could act as a place where the trucks have driven a lot, and that means that the ground has worn off a lot more, and that means that everything has broken down there. Not broken, but it just gives it more character and makes it look more used, and it really gives it an old looking thing, not a perfectly flat and grey concrete which is so perfect that it doesn't even have any imperfections in it. And I think that the rock pile here could be a little collection of rocks which they just stored there when they were building the rail yard. So basically when they had a gigantic rock, they just digged it out and threw it there into one gigantic pile. Here I added some more decorating behind that house, which I already started decorating in the last episode, but that was okay, I think. Now I was adding some more cars to the parking lots, because the cars weren't really using the parking lot by itself, so I literally had to manually start adding some cars there. And this is a place where I tried to add some logging trucks as from the logging yard, so they could be using that as a little parking spot. And also I added some sand bauxite and cement piles over here, which could give it more character, because they are collecting the stuff there, and maybe they're going to start building something in the future which ends up making which might end up making something look much greater. This is now the main warehouse over there. Okay, I was saving the game there to be sure that I wouldn't lose stuff, but now you can see those darker lines on the ground much better, which I try to imitate the more used place on the parking space there. Yep. So now we are going to be getting near the end of the video, but not yet soon. So basically now I was trying to add some decoration to the... I don't really know what those are. Are those gas cisterns or oil cisterns? But I ended up connecting them up to that warehouse next to it. And I also added a lot of flowers, some fallen down trees and some other stuff there as a rock formation. And this is the place where I tried to connect up those tanks there to the warehouse over here. And here I added a second tank outside of the building, so that might be used as a place where they are releasing out the finished product or something like that, or that's just a place where they store some unusable liquids or gas or something which is not usable for production, or it is just a waste. Here I added some extra trucks as before, with the same style of ground painting later bit, and some cars and a little car over there, not inside the parking spot, because I wanted to imitate the movement again, because if you have everything in or on not a random place, if you have everything on a set up position, then it doesn't really look like it is natural. So now I made it look a little bit of movement, and everything is not so OCD. Maybe it is OCD, but I don't know. But I really like to have some places on my map where some things are just not correctly done, so it looks a little bit more random. Yeah, random, that's the word which I was looking for. Here I was trying to add some more natural stuff to the ground part, where here I wanted to add a little hill, but I was not able to find a place with the move it tool to be able to raise up the ground, so I had to I ended up deleting some of those ground painting stuff, because I accidentally added them before I had ended up putting the road to the place which I liked, so I had to delete them, and I think I added them again later a bit. Yeah, I was adding them more back again. Added some grass next to the road, and which would make it look like it is not used a lot, but it is not taken care very often, so the grass can grow there and just fill up every position and place on the edge of the road. Also, I ended up decorating the hill with some rocks again, which might make it look like it is a place for those rocks which they took from the rail yard and just placed over there, so they wouldn't act as a barrier for train tracks, so they would be able to just lay down the rail tracks in the correct position and not have to move the rails around the rocks. Some more decorating with the advertisement posts and more stuff like that. So now basically we are at the end of the video, and I'm just doing some touch-up stuff on everything, and I really want to say goodbye and see ya in the next video. And also, if you're going to like this video, then be sure to like it, but if you are for some case want to dislike, then you know what to do. But subscribe, like, and see you in the next video. And also don't forget to press the bell button.